Hello, I'm Luke Hatfield. I'm joined by Joe Edwards here at the Shropshire Star. Joe, big old game this weekend. The Dave Edwards derby, but Dave Edwards will not be participating.
No, he's not. It's a shame for him. Obviously, former Wolves, great, 9 years there, and this was set up to be the big return for Dave Edwards against Wolves for his boyhood club, but it won't happen. Injured. And he's kind of made the decision himself not to risk himself. He's, of course, not played a lot of football this season. Went to Shrewsbury after a spell at Reading, which he didn't play this season, and he wants to kind of save himself for the running in the league for Shrewsbury, which, you know, if you think about it, it's probably the right call, but for sentimental reasons, it would have been nice to play against Wolves. But yeah, we won't be seeing Dave, but hopefully we'll be seeing a lively cup affair.
That's it, and it's not just Dave Edwards who has links with Wolves, of course. Mr. Sam Ricketts, and Shrewsbury Town boss. He's been in charge for a little bit now. It'll be interesting to see Sam Ricketts in the dugout going against Wolves because he's been so heavily linked with them throughout his history.
Yeah, he has, and I mean, you look at this Wolves now, and you know, Ricketts was a key part of that rebuild that Wolves had in League One. Things had gone sour for Wolves following relegation from the Premier League and then relegation from the Championship.
Yeah.
And Ricketts was the captain of Wolves that season in League One, bouncing back to the Championship at the first attempt, and kind of, you know, sparking that run that they've had now. Of course, the Faust and money has helped considerably. But he got the feel-good factor back that season did, and Ricketts was so important that season. So he's held in good regard by the Wolves fans. I think he'll get a good reception from the travelling Wolves fans. But he'll be keen to show that now he's playing days behind him, and he's an ambitious and hopefully talented coach as well that can give Wolves a real go.
That's it, and it's not just a showpiece event, is it, Joe? There is a game to be played, and it's not just talk about Sam Ricketts, Dave Edwards and Wolves. At the end of the day, this is a proper game for Shrewsbury Town. They've sold out the ground. It's going to be a great atmosphere. And I tell you what, if they can bloody Wolves' nose a bit, and if they can somehow get through, I mean, what a story that'll be.
It'd be an absolutely huge story. In Shrewsbury, I mean, they like a bit of a cup game, don't they? A bit of a big cup affair over these past few years. We've seen Chelsea and Man United at the Meadow. We saw West Ham there last season. Got a replay against them.
Yeah.
So they're no stranger to playing against these big teams and these big occasions. You've got to look at that Shrewsbury team, and they've been playing this 4-4-2 diamond recently. It's a mixed effect. I don't think it's been fantastic. It's not been catastrophic by any means either. It's had a varied degree of success, and I think the key to that is if they can try and stop Wolves from playing, pack out that midfield, and then you've probably got the likes of, say, Traore or a Cavallero coming in for Wolves. If, say, an Almar Beckles can just do the old-fashioned approach of sticking one in early, and are these players going to respond? So that's the test for Shrewsbury. I think they've got to come out the gate sharp and fast, get into Wolves' faces, and see what they can do from there. Because if they make a sluggish start, Shrewsbury, Wolves will punish them.
That's it. You've seen both teams this season, Joe, of course, and Wolves' squad isn't the biggest. So if he makes a lot of changes, you're going to expect a lot of the kids to come in. Well, how do you rate Shrewsbury's chances going into this one? Does it all depend on the lineups?
I think if Wolves make changes, which I think they will, just with our eye on that West Ham game coming up on the Tuesday, there is a window for Shrewsbury, but if those Wolves players play to anything near their best, I think they should come out as winners, and perhaps even quite comfortable winners as well.
Yeah.
You're looking at the players that are potentially coming in. I think he'll probably rest Jimenez and Jota, the front two. I think he might well rest Moutinho and perhaps even Neves as well. But then you've got the club record signing of Adama Traore. He's not been amazing for Wolves, but they've signed him for that money for a reason. Ivan Cavallero, this is a player who's played for Portugal. Helder Costa could come in, or he might be on the bench, but again, he's a player who's played for Portugal. And the key with some of these players as well going forward, they have been to lower league grounds. They've been to a Brentford ground, and they've been to a Barnsley and places like that. Places like Shrewsbury aren't new to them. They're now strangers to it. So if those players in those forward areas perform as they should do for Wolves, then really they should come out on top.
What about from a Shrewsbury perspective, Joe? What does Shrewsbury Town need to do if they are to get a result here or even a replay?
I think they've just got to, as I say, be physical, be in Wolves' faces, work hard, cover every inch of grass really. If they try and play football, they're not going to outplay Wolves. That's just obvious. I think obviously the difference in levels, and Wolves aren't just your average Premier League team. They're really making an impact in the Premier League as well. So if Shrewsbury try and play it on the ground and play Wolves at their own game, they'll get beaten comfortably. They've got to stick to kind of the stereotypical League One things of being physical, perhaps taking it aerial if they can, bombarding balls into the box. I think that's the best approach that they've got. It may not be what Ricketts wants to do on a week-to-week basis in the league, but to have a result in the Cup, I think that might be his best bet.
Should be an interesting one at least. So there we go, big old game this weekend. For all the latest on Shrewsbury Town's FA Cup clash with Wolves, make sure you stay with us at shropshirestar.com.